Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Couch Tomatoes. Almost tripped on my own show's name for some reason. Welcome to another Couch Tomatoes movie chat. I officially named it that to kind of just differentiate us from the other Couch Tomatoes that existed in the past. But you can still find us the Couch Tomatoes. We've got a very specific logo. No one else has it. We got beautiful faces. No one else has those either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
have things falling over in the background. Awesome.
what's falling over the background?
I have no idea.
I gotta
Oh,
turn you up.
okay.
Okay,
Bunch
say
of
something.
trash. I still need to take that.
Okay, I gotta turn you down a little bit. There you go. Okay, can you take your camera up at all to give yourself headroom? Because right now you have no headroom. It's very claustrophobic.
Well, okay.
That's too
Now
far.
you see the light.
I didn't
There
know.
you go.
Well, you said you were scrolling it around, so I didn't know if you could go up with it also. Oh, hey, actually, that's good. You got it. We're good.
Yeah,
What?
what? I said, there we go.
Oh, I thought you said something else. I was like, what? What? We got it. It's fine. We're good.
Yeah, I can.
All right, so we're just gonna go in reverse order since we know the newer stuff
You're so cute.
more. All right. How about? All right. So, we should definitely talk about the stuff I mentioned in the tweet is Mandy, Beyond the Black Rainbow, Amusement Park, Communion, and Evilspeak. And the first one on our list is Communion, starring our friend and yours, Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah. So we're not going in order then?
No, we're
Okay.
going in reverse order. The last movie we watched together.
Communion. If you want to see Christopher Walken dancing with aliens, then this is the movie for you.
Oh my god, that scene, that moment. Oh, I gotta send this link to somebody. Fuck, I'm an idiot. That moment, just like I was unprepared for that absurdity.
It's Ken. Just trying to find my wires. Okay, yes. This didn't get very good reviews, but the only thing I was really expecting from it was to see Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken in the 80s, and I got what I paid for. Since it's on Amazon Prime, was basically nothing because I pay for the shipping. So when you also get to watch movies on there, it's nice. There are some really goofy aspects to this movie. It's based on the story. The guy who wrote the story is the guy who experienced it.
Yeah.
And he's also didn't he write the story for The Howling or something like that as
No,
well?
Philip Amora is the director who did The Howling 2 and The Howling 3. You're mixing those two things up. The writer is Whitley Strieber. He did Wolfen. He wrote Wolfen and The Hunger.
Wolfen, that's
I haven't
what it
seen
is,
The Hunger. I need to see that. It's actually high on my list of things to see. I think it's got a Warner Archive release, right? Anyway,
Yes.
that's unimportant. I just got distracted. Philip Amora also did The Beast Within, which is a movie about monster fucking, well, monster rape and monster impregnation. So there's that at least. That's a thing.
It's almost like
It's a
he,
fascination.
perhaps because of this experience he had. Who knows?
No. Oh yeah. No. You're mixing them up again. Philip Amora is not the guy who experienced things. Whitley Strieber experienced things. Philip Amora is the director of this movie.
I thought you were talking about
No.
the stuff Whitley Strieber did.
No, Whitley. I already mentioned the three things Whitley Strieber did. I said it's interesting to note that Philip Amora did this movie and Beast Within, a movie about monster fucking, or monster rape, and he did Halloween 2. And I remember correctly, there's a fucking werewolf orgy in that. I think, and doesn't
Okay,
someone get
then
fucking
yeah,
fucked
it's-
in Community? I think Philip Amora is a closeted monster fucker, and I think he should express himself in these 4 movies.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? You almost don't want to know because of what's happened in the past with horror directors. It's like, nope, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Not knowing.
I mean, if I find out elsewise,
Yeah.
fine, but, like, I'm not going to go looking for it.
But
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Christopher Walken goes to a cabin after being a complete dick to his family. and then he sees an alien and continues to be even more of a dick to his family. That repeat
I would
process.
say he doesn't start off as a dick to his family. He gradually becomes
So
more dickish to his
Christopher
family.
Walken said himself he started as a character who was closed off emotionally, and as the film gets on, gets even more and more closed off
Yeah.
emotionally. So I think he's kind of a dickhead to his kids.
But what?
He's kind of a
I
dickhead to
didn't
his
read
kids.
that at all. I didn't
Ah,
see that at all.
he's a terrible parent.
Which is to say that,
His character's a terrible
like,
parent.
yeah, of course. But in the very beginning of the movie, he's having a good time with this family. They're joking around. They seem to have a pretty good family life, right? It's like there's nothing inherently about the very beginning of the movie where he comes off as an
Hey, thanks for the
asshole.
follow, Savage Celluloid. Sorry about that.
It's
Got
okay.
interrupted by the
He
noise
doesn't
anyway.
really come off as an asshole at that point in the movie. It isn't until basically they go out to the cabin
Bro,
when they
8
have that
minutes into the
experience.
movie they go to the cabin. He sees an alien at 12 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Hey,
The
I'm not
very
wrong.
opening when they
He's just an
introduce you to these characters, he's
There's-
not an asshole in that
There's
very
so
beginning
little
introduction.
time. There's so little time spent with him as anything other than a complete dickhead. Okay.
It's true. It's true.
And my favorite part is apparently
I just want
Whitley
to mention
Strieber.
though that one moment when he was not an
Whitley
asshole.
Strieber was on set, and apparently he didn't like his Christopher Walken's portrayal. And Christopher Walken turned to him and said, "Well, if the shoe fits." Oh, he said he thought he was portraying him too crazy. He said,
Yeah.
if the shoe fits, like that's it. Like he didn't give a fuck. In other words, he thought the guy was a little bit crazy.
Which is interesting. Okay, I don't want to mix these up again. So Whitley did The Hunger, right?
Yes.
Isn't Christopher Walken in The Hunger?
You know, I am not entirely sure. I will go look right now.
Like, I swear, maybe he's done another movie that Whitley Strieber worked or wrote. The
Strieber,
script for.
Hunger.
But
No
either way.
Walken, no. It's got
Oh, I'm thinking David Bowie.
it's got David fucking Bowie in it. Hell
Yeah,
fucking yes it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Which is why I need to say it. It's a Tony Scott film. May he rest in peace.
Anyways,
Ooh, excuse me.
there are moments when it's kind of creepy, the movie, and it's like, at first you think to yourself, why is he reacting to the aliens the way he is? Because he doesn't have much of a reaction to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I
Huh.
see you. I know you're there.
He wasn't sure he was
Huh.
even seeing the I think because he woke up from his sleep, he probably didn't think he was seeing anything
And
real.
what they show you is like, to him, it's like he's having a dream. In his mind, he's having a dream. This is a dream, right? This isn't actually happening. So he's not reacting to it the way that somebody normally would by freaking out or whatever. But
Right.
there's also the aspect of that you don't really hear about, or it's shown in movies, but they don't really describe it or explain what it is, and that is that the reason people don't freak out in the movies to aliens, like in this case, would be because in many cases they report people who claim to have been abducted report that they were frozen with fear. They
I was
couldn't do anything. They couldn't
frozen
react to anything.
Today. Sorry. Had to.
Yeah, they couldn't really do or say or react to anything. So it's actually kind of true to how those
Yes.
things are described,
Absolutely.
to have him not reacting. And I'm sure some people would be like, well, if I was there, I would be freaking out. And it's like, well, that's not how this.
I mean, you
has
might have been
been
freaking
reported
out,
to work,
but couldn't
you know?
react. You know what I mean? He maybe
Yeah.
freaking out, not react.
Exactly.
Did we see the anal penetration scene? Is that
We
in this
did
movie?
not.
So just out of the blue, he mentions that. Okay.
There is a scene, but you don't actually see the anal penetration.
Obviously, I'm
is
not
what
going to see a
saying.
hose go into his butthole, but I mean, like,
We see the hose. We get the
it was implied.
implication.
Okay,
of
it was
what's
implied. I
happening.
must have been looking away when
We
that
don't-
happens sometimes.
We don't actually
ADHD and
see
all.
what happened.
Okay, because I feel like I felt, because I guess I missed that one small moment, because looking like this, doing a million ADHD things, and then like I come back to the movie and I'm like, why does he mention being probed to the fucking doctor? Did he just, it fell out of the blue. But okay, I just missed the shot. 'Cause I remember them going over the abduction. I just don't think, I just got distracted, I think, halfway through. Oh, hi, Skeletor. Hi, Skeletor. You're such a pretty kitty. Look at that pretty kitty. We here at the podcast love our cats. So we gotta take a cat break because Kitty demands it.
Yep.
Kitty's like, give attention. Give attention.
Done now.
That's all it takes. See, plenty. That's plenty. You're good.
Okay.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Knocked over my pills. Anyways.
Shit.
The communion. Or communion, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. It's shot fairly competently, but not great.
I don't think there's anything
really
too grievous or
there's nothing that stands out about it.
Mm.
There's nothing about it that looks terrible or bad. Or feels terrible.
The movie
or
feels
bad.
long though.
And it is kind of short, isn't it? Like
I don't know. It feels a bit long, is all I'm saying. And that's just my personal perspective also. 103 minutes. Yeah, it's not that long. It's just, it feels a little long. It takes once we see the alien, it takes a while to get back to the aliens, to be fair.
Yeah. And then there was this scene at the end where he goes, like, he leaves his house. It's almost like completely out of the blue, where he just, like, he's gone through all the stuff. He's gone to not the self-help, but the and whatnot because he thinks he's insane or something, but there are actually other people who've experienced the same thing, and they go to the meeting, and he's in the meeting, he's talking to these people about his experiences and all that. And so it's after that when he's like talking to his wife, and then randomly he decides, all right, I'm going out for smokes. Or that's what he says, right? And then, of course, he drives out to the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
I think the implication maybe is he was like drawn to the cabin or something like this. And
yeah, it did feel like he was kind of like drawn there, right?
Yeah, this scene is the reason you want to see this movie, because it's such a weird fucking scene.
It's the part of the movie everyone's going to remember.
He goes out to the cabin, and before he even gets there, he's getting close, and he sees this light on the side of the road, and it's a UFO, or that's the implication. It's just a really fucking bright light.
Right.
He pulls off the side of the road. He goes over to the light, and he's beamed into the UFO. Hi, kitten. There you are. I see you.
Kitty. My cat is on the floor over there sleeping.
It's like his quote-unquote confrontation with these alien beings. And he thinks he's going in there to, like, have at it with them. Just, show them what's what or whatever. That's the implication, I think. And they're just like, oh, hey, buddy, how's it going? Like, and there's this one just, like, little blue alien dude who literally, like, fucking does this to him.
Yeah,
and then slaps him 5 or whatever, And then he's like in there almost like fucking dancing with them. It's just this weird fucking scene.
Not almost. He's actually dancing with them. And there's a weird,
yes.
it's like weird musical number almost.
Yeah, Christopher Walken is for some reason just like having a great time with these aliens that probed him, that he doesn't like, that earlier in the movie was saying, I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
Like, and it's this weird acceptance almost of, like, of what happened to him, and acceptance of the fucking people who did it to him too. It's so weird.
It's so beyond weird.
Yeah. This kitten demands more attention, by the way.
It's the kind of movie, if it's like, there's a Philip Amora commentary and interview on the Blu-ray, I'd buy the Blu-ray. Because, like, I like the movie, and I would like to see it in better quality than DVD. and
I
since
mean,
it was a DVD rip on the Amazon Prime.
it was an artisan, wasn't it?
Yeah, Artisan
And
DVD,
so,
exactly. So it's locked over at
therefore,
Lionsgate right now, I think.
yeah.
But
He's
like,
kitten. She's so cute.
I want to know what he was thinking. Because like that's my favorite thing about like the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays, right? Is you watch a movie and you're like, what? There's so many weird choices here, and then you listen to you either listen to the commentary or you watch the interview with the director that's on there. Sometimes both, and they explain like, oh yeah, that one fucking scene that everyone remembers. I know it's bad, but this is why it happened, and you're like, oh, and then like you watch it so many times, and like I'm at the point of seeing so many movies where literally me and Justin will be sitting there, and I'll be like, oh, I bet you this happened, and good chance that's exactly the reason why they made that weird choice that's not sensical or whatever. 'Cause I just know like I don't know, I just know how they think, how they like low budget, last minute fix type think, you know.
Yep.
Anyway, next on our list, legit more to talk about.
Nope.
All right. Next is Michael Mann's Thief, one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a story about James Conner as a master thief cracker, or not a master, he's just a thief, a thief cracker, a safe cracker, like
Yeah.
like a bank safe, so bank vault safe. So he's got like carbon rods and like so. Michael Mann. Here's an interesting thing. Michael Mann got police officers and real life crooks to come on. The Michael Farina was a real life cop who was still working when he worked this got the role. Then on top of he plays a crook. Okay. Then one of the guys who's an advisor for the thief advisors for the script or for the movie, who also provide most of the tools, plays a fucking cop in this movie. It's such a weird role reversal. Dennis Farina, a cop, is playing a criminal, and a criminal is playing a cop. Anyway, I thought it was a really, oh god,
Right.
such a fucking beautiful color palette in this movie. Dude,
Yes.
Michael Mann, not Michael Mann, James Caan. I don't know if Michael Mann. James Caan's like trying to like. He's like this go getter. He's like this driven to like. He wants this lifestyle he's dreamt up while in prison, and he's really literally doing anything he can to obtain the money to do that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a conversation between Khan and I can't remember the actress's name, and he talks about like a 7 minute monologue about being in prison, which is based off a real letter that Michael Mann got about some of his experiences in prison. And so like this movie is just it's so good. Drive, by the way, Drive owes everything to this movie.
Oh yeah. The the way that Michael Mann shoots his movies is really incredible. I just you can see shades of Miami Vice in this.
Oh yeah, this is
There's
before Miami Vice.
obvious, and there are scenes in it that are very much like straight out of Miami Vice.
I literally,
But like,
when we parted ways that night, I literally went and watched that famous scene from Miami Vice where he goes to the phone. Caroline, was it that whole moment, like that
yeah,
moment that gives me fucking goosebumps, and even though I've seen it 10,000 times at this point, yeah. Anyway,
it's on Criterion. That's how you know it's a good fucking
it's
movie.
also on Arrow Video.
Um,
There's a limited edition with the theatrical cut. That's the director's cut. The only one available on home video is the director's cut at present. So the only way to get the director's cut of the movie was to get the limited edition Thief from Arrow from like 10 years ago.
oh great.
Same master
Well,
though,
anyways,
or similar master, I should say, for the director's
the
cut. I mean,
God damn it. The the cinematography in it is really good. And I like to
oh, it's
mention
amazing.
the use of colors. It's really like the way the set is created, so to speak, because it's these dark city streets. It's almost always dark. I mean, there are some daytime scenes, obviously, but the
Always
ones
raining
that
too.
stick out the most is it's raining, it's dark, and the reason I think he likes the rainy scenes the most is because I think it's a set in Chicago, first of all. But
Right. It's shot in
another
it's
thing,
set right in Chicago. There's one scene at the beach that was shot in Santa Barbara, I think, and I think that was only done Probably because of pickups. Something wrong.
Not
See, when you do a film, like something happens sometimes. The film doesn't process. Sorry, go. I didn't mean to rant. Go ahead.
another thing. God, fuck. See, this is the thing. I'm like trying to say something,
Damn
and
it.
then you interrupt me. God damn.
Sorry.
I think the reason why he chooses these the rainy scenes is because it creates the puddles on the ground in the city at night, and he's got this fucking neon lighting for example, in the final scene at the car dealership where this guy works, or that he owns rather. You got the neon lights, right, and you got the lighting above as well. It's just like these, like I don't know what they call them, uh, like these kind of lights. These you can't
Fluorescent.
see. Well, it's the lights, the string of lights, the string of lights, yeah, that are up
Oh,
above
string
the
of lights.
cars and
Okay.
everything.
They're
And
like
so you've
Christmas
got
lights or whatever.
lights, these tiny little lights
Decorative lights.
everywhere in this scene, and then you've got the neon lights as well, and they're all being reflected off the surface of the puddles on the ground as well, and it just creates this crazy fucking
If I remember correctly,
awesome
isn't it like
shot, almost giving you tunnel vision.
isn't
It's
it
really cool.
isn't it like a greenish tone in that scene too, which is like sickly green or sickly blue. I can't remember. It's like a real sickly
Blue,
tone, and
blue,
it's like
yeah,
it's literally them playing with the natural lights from the overhead lights, like the car dealership lamp, which use like halogens or perhaps maybe fluorescence or something. I'm not entirely sure.
yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure it's fluorescence, but like those have a specific color when showing up on film. So like I feel like either they're gelling the lights or they're tweaking it in the post to make it like to use that color because the way those lights light you, it just washes everything out. It makes everything sickly looking anyway if you're not like wearing makeup. So it's just yeah, it's incredible. I fucking love this movie. I've seen it probably like 10 times now,
And
at
then
least.
on top of everything else, the Tangerine Dream soundtrack. Oh my god. It's so fucking good.
I sleep to the soundtrack frequently, where it just plays. I just put it on loop and just go to bed.
I will randomly fucking pull it up on YouTube and just start listening to it just because I'm in the mood. Like, it's so good.
I fucking love it. It's so good. This movie, Frank is in this movie. There's interesting. It's like he went into prison at a very young age, at 20 years old. He spent like 18 years in prison, 16 years in prison, something like that. And he comes out as an adult and expected to just be an adult when he was a fucking 20-year-old put in prison for inane shit, right? Shit that maybe he shouldn't have been in prison for so fucking long. And you know his time to get extended because he murdered somebody because he had to defend himself in a prison yard. But like, it's like he's like this stunted individual emotionally, and he gets closed off. We watch these movies back to back basically, and like it's just two movies. It's a double bill. These men who are like harmed by society. They have like PTSD type deals where they're just like they can't cope with like the modern stresses or whatever. There's something about their life that they can't cope with, and like they're like slowly reverting to their like basest forms. That's what these movies are. Like Frank is presented with like a threat, and instead of like I don't know responding reasonably, he just blows his own shit all up, so that no one else can take it away from him. Like he just blows his own fucking properties up so that no one can take it away from him because he's like, no, motherfuckers, don't you dare fucking threaten me because I don't give a goddamn about this shit. And he blows his base. But he didn't say any of this, but that's his actions. And then he goes
Yep.
and he exacts his revenge and such a great fucking movie. Interesting note. A little spoiler. Cover your ears if you're sensitive to these things. But at the end, he reveals the thing with his chest, right? You see cop cars are coming. Because he reveals his chest, that the thing underneath his shirt. I don't want to like talking details, because he survives this gun shootout because of that, right? And then like there's cops in the background. Frank doesn't get away. I think this is Frank's destruction. I think this is like Frank's apocalypse. I don't think Frank's gonna. He's going to prison for life for this. I think. And he knows it. I think that's why he blew everything
Could
up.
be. He definitely isn't making an attempt to like flee at fast speeds and get the hell out of there. He's
Right.
walking away slowly,
Walking
right?
towards. He was walking towards the cop cars. You see him in the background. They drove by. I think they're going to one of the other places first. He might get away, but like that's gonna be hard. All his properties were bombed, and a bunch of people he was related to, business wise and otherwise, were killed. Like it's like I realized it's just kind of dawned on me like been thinking about it for a few days, obviously, but like
And
this
if
is
he went
Frank's
back,
apocalypse.
whether he died there and got shot by cops or
Was
went
arrested.
back in prison, he would have died anyways because he just killed a fucking mob boss. It's
He
like
killed a bunch of people.
you're gonna be a huge fucking target in
Yeah.
prison if when you do that.
He did
So
two.
one way or the other, you're going to die.
He did two explosions, and he went to two different scenes and killed many people. He had multiple life sentences. He's never getting out of prison after that. So no matter
It's
what,
basically
if he gets to his whole world's an apocalypse. He just
uh,
it's yeah.
it's his decision that like, well, fuck everybody else. I'm living life my way. I don't give a fuck. That's essentially what it is.
I mean, he's like his emotionally stunted toddler. When presented with with violence, he responds with even more with extreme violence. You know, because he was presented
Yeah.
with a small bit of violence, and he responded by blowing everything up and killing everybody. I mean, like more like a medium amount of violence, but he like escalated. It escalated quickly. He just went from 0 to like 10,000, which happens. Anyway, I
Yep.
fucking adore this movie. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I just that fucking line that Frank has. What was it? Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. Say something about the movie.
Oh, say something about the movie. Something about the movie. If you guys haven't heard the soundtrack,
Ah.
I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but if you haven't heard it, then go listen to it now. Well, not now, after you're done watching this.
Yeah,
Anyway.
obviously. So Willie Nelson plays his father figure, and he goes to talk to him in prison, and James Caan does, and like there's this quote. I really like this quote: "Lie to no one. If there's somebody close to you, you'll ruin it with a lie. If they're a stranger, who the fuck are they? You gotta lie to them." Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a pretty. I just really like that quote. That was kind of cool. It's one of my favorite quotes in cinema. So
Isn't it crazy that, like, Willie Nelson plays an old guy in prison in this movie who passes away? Spoiler alert, sorry.
oops.
And yet, in modern life, in reality, he's still alive. This guy's
Is
still
Willie Nelson
alive.
still alive? Are you sure?
He's still alive.
Holy shit! Well, go get on that. Damn, live that life.
Fuck yeah. But that's how, like,
Didn't he
that's
move out
how
of Texas
old
because of
he is.
weed? I feel like he left because of the Republicans. All right, Willie Nelson.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna look it up.
I apologize that I'm probably breaking up. My
Eight,
internet is being
8
stupid.
years old. He this doesn't tell me where he resides. Sometimes it says, "Hey, he lives in this city." It's like, oh well, not here. Oh well. I was like, where does Willie Nelson live now? I know you still live in Texas. I think he moved because of weed. Anyway, did you have anything else to say about Thief?
No. Good.
Man, we watched a lot of good movies last week. I think Communion was the weakest one at 6 out of 10. Everything else is 7, 8, and 10. Wow.
Yeah, the week is pretty good. Goodbye.
All right. Next, Shudder did a restoration and the release of the Amusement Park, one of George Romero's early films, and it is a educational film that he shot for some commission, perhaps. I can't remember the exact reason. I watched a special feature on it and I've already forgotten. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's about this old guy who goes to an amusement park or something like that. To me, I was a little confused for part of it. So, Uh-oh. Did we get a sound back yet?
I'm having serious internet issues.
Go to audio only and see if that helps. I will turn my video off to you.
I don't think it's the issue, but
If I turn my video off to you, maybe that'll help. Because you'll be stopped downloading it. It'll be less download. Oh, God.
allow.
Blue Blob Stout. Hey.
Woohoo!
Alright, so, your thoughts on Amusement Park? Because it kind of confused me a bit.
Amusement Park. I felt like it's still a prescient film. It's very true to life today, and not just in the way that like they're talking about the elderly in this movie
Oh,
and
right.
how the elderly are treated,
You know,
but
mistreated is it, maybe?
that is kind of what it is kind of like I don't want to say movie of the week, but like it is
It's an
one
educational
of
film.
those movies like educational film, yes, special topic kind of thing, right? But
Special
you can kind of see the elements of horror in it that he was very known for because there's some
Mm-hmm.
horrific things that happened to this old guy
Oh, yeah.
and some strange element of like of uh of him not it starts there's like a cyclical aspect to it basically where it starts and you see him talking to himself and one version of him is really fucking like beating the hell up, and the other one's just happy-go-lucky, nothing wrong with the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to give too much away, but there's a cyclical nature to that that I think is interesting, almost like Twilight Zone-ish,
Yeah,
if
you
you
know, it did
will.
feel kind of like a Twilight
Um,
Zone episode a bit, right? Like, or like a higher
yeah,
quality. I feel like maybe the budget was a little bit higher on Twilight Zone because they were like in an amusement park. That's just not cheap. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what the budget is? Not important. Just rambling. Sorry.
Well, I don't think it was a huge amusement park. I think it was just like
Like a
a
Coney Island type
small
deal. Yeah.
little, yeah. Anyways, Uh, what I thought was interesting about it is like the things that they're talking about old people having to deal with are actually just problems with capitalism. I'll say it
Yeah.
like issues with the way capitalism works.
This movie is very anti-capitalist
It's
by just
almost like
coincidence.
it's almost like it had been made in the McCarthy era. Definitely, George Romero would have been pulled in by McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Guarantee it. He would have been like, "What message were you trying to give?" You're like, "Well,
Old age sucked and people like treat you like shit. That's what I'm trying to say.
basically."
Oh,
But
you're
like
back.
the problem
Okay.
that they have with what?
Nothing. You're good. You're good. Keep going.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
What?
Okay. I'm
What?
good. Okay.
Okay.
Damn it.
Not my fault this time.
You are laughing for me, right? Like, which is to say that like your response, I'm hearing your response like 5 seconds after.
Yeah, that's been
I don't know
happening
what
a
to
lot
say
on Discord
about that.
lately. I don't know what that is about. It was happening with me and Tess yesterday also.
But in the case of the movie, the one of the thing that stood out
Stook.
to me. Thank you, brain.
It's my word.
The the healthcare thing.
Mm.
They kind of touch on how trying to get healthcare, you have to pay for healthcare, and you get when you don't have enough money or enough tickets in this case is pretty crappy. And even when you do pay a lot of money for it, it's really just get you in and out as fast as possible because that capitalism works. It's not interested in giving you the best care, the longest possible care. It's interested in getting in and out the door as fast as fucking possible,
Yep.
and that they can maximize profit. And um, that's very much the case now.
I mean, I think the thing is it's not that it's not the case now. It's that it's never stopped
Nothing,
being that way. It's always been that way,
yeah,
and
nothing has changed.
yeah, exactly. It's like the idea that the government has to run on a profit, like on every like every part of it, I mean, is a little weird. Like, you can lose a profit in one sector and have a profit in another sector, right? Like, that's a thing you can do. Some people don't think about these things.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I agree.
it's rather political,
And
but
this
just how
this
humans think more than anything else.
yeah, this kind of forces you to think about these things,
Hmm.
and that's what I liked about it.
My
It's
favorite
almost
part,
more of a political movie than
yeah.
anything else he's ever done.
Ah,
So
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, Land of the Dead was
there is
very much.
I know there's
No.
politics in yes, but this is like more direct political than those, I would say. Perhaps more
Interesting.
indirectly. I don't
I don't know. When's the last time you saw Day of the Dead? 'Cause that's like basically Reaganism, the movie.
know. But this, like, there's no trying to make a zombie movie, but with a message in it. It's just trying to make a movie with a message in it. There's no
Right, right.
pretense. Additional thing that they're trying to do with it.
Got it. Understood. Ah, then before that, we watched Beyond the Black Rainbow. Wow, what a Okay, so like this
Oh my
movie's deeply
god.
layered with like imagery, and the way it fades in and out, the way it layers the images is like so crucial to this movie. It's fascinating to me how like just it's just such a it's this beautiful movie. It's a beautifully shot movie. I don't know, like it's got a very strong like THX 1138 vibe and a bit of 2001: Space Odyssey, and you noted some other movies, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh my god. I think it was working. I think I ended up working. Okay, good.
He said it,
Never mind,
and then he
apparently it
immediately
did.
froze. Ah, it's great. Oh, it's the best thing ever. It's when I'm like, oh, I think Maynard's better. Never mind.
Over and over again. Why is it doing this? It was at like 30 down and now it's at 1. What the fuck is going on? Oh boy. Anyways.
Well, interesting. We're having some problems with technical issues with Justin's end.
Beyond the Black Rainbow.
By the guy who did Mandy, and by the guy who directed Mandy, and wrote it and did all that stuff.
Yes. And as you were saying several times throughout the movie, you could see why people wouldn't necessarily like this as much as they liked Mandy.
Oh yeah, it's very
I
slippery.
can also understand that it's much more difficult to get into, so to speak.
I think it's
It
difficult to
feels more
parse
like a
sometimes.
student film.
I didn't say that.
We were talking about how it kind of almost had a feel of THX
Ah,
113, so George Lucas' earlier film.
well, I wasn't implying the student film aspect.
And
This is the experimental
yes,
aspect. Sorry. So
oh yeah, yeah. Well, I thought student film because of THX 1138, but yeah. Wow.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Just letting you talk.
So
Did you?
one of the really nice things. Well, I have to check because of the internet, right?
I know.
But um, one of the really nice things I liked about this movie was the lighting. He's just as good with the lighting and whatnot in this movie as he is in with Mandy. Um, you can tell this guy loves the not New Hollywood, the French New Wave. French New Wave. He loves the French New Wave.
And
And
Argento.
oh yeah, and it shows it because the lighting isn't necessarily um, motivated by much.
Not really, but it's a pretty
Well,
surreal film.
yeah, it's very surreal. Like the point is to be motivated by all this.
It's also reminiscent of
Although,
like parts of this. So it takes place in this institute, and part of the like there are parts that remind me of like the few bits of the Exorcist 2: The Heretic that I've seen, where they have like this institute with a bunch of weird shaped windows and interesting little rooms that look weird. And anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
that's okay. Um, so I love
Oh, sweating.
the lighting in this, even though it's not motivated by much. It's
No.
like it's still really, it's pretty. Every frame of painting kind of stuff, you know. But what one of the interesting things that I noticed throughout the film is that there are a lot of like the focus. There are a lot of scenes where the focus is off, and you're thinking, was that a mistake? At least a few times you're thinking, is that a mistake? No, I think it's all intentional. There are many moments in this movie where uh, nothing is in focus. Literally nothing is in focus. And I literally thought to myself as I was watching it, is there something wrong with my internet? Because, hey, look, I'm having internet issues right fucking now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, is it blurry because of my internet or because of the movie?
No.
And then within literally seconds, that one shot would cut to another shot that was completely in focus, high quality, HD, you could tell. And it's like, okay, that's not how bad internet works. It doesn't just immediately come back to high definition right as another scene begins. So that's how I could tell, like, okay, no, it was intentional that these scenes were out of focus. And I was thinking about, well, why would you have them out of focus? It's because I think the character in the movie, his life and his mental well-being was quote unquote out of focus as well. So I think that the filmmaker was trying to get that kind of a message across with how he was shooting the film, with the fact that it was like out of focus. So like it was intentional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was also this moment I remember where you see there's like this walking stick bug that's in the facility that they're in,
Yeah.
where this girl is being kept, and there's these shots being interspersed between her and this walking stick bug, which is not in its natural habitat, right? And then at some point, when you see the girl out in like the wilderness, you see the walking stick bug again, but it's also out in the wilderness. It's out among the greenery and
Oh,
whatnot.
I didn't
It's like
catch that. That's
in its
cool.
natural habitat. So and she is as well. The implication, I think, being that she's in her natural habitat now.
I didn't link those two at all. Ah, damn. Good eye, dude. That's why I like watching
So,
movies and talking about movies with you because you always catch things that I miss.
yeah.
There are like
So I
times
think
in like,
there are a lot of great things about this movie. It's not going to click with every horror fan out there,
mm-mm.
but it's
Like
definitely one I think most people should watch at least once.
there are
Deserving of Criterion, perhaps.
there are moments where the therapist and the patient are and she the patient are having a conversation, and the power dynamics are shifting, and like the way they frame is changing, and like they overlay at some point where they're like almost touching nose to nose, and there's all this like the way the Cosmatos like overlays and slowly fades between things. He's like saying things about the things he's cross fading between, like the lady's like losing part of her identity to this man because she's
Yeah.
fading into his identity. It's like it's such a and like there's like all these little things like that in this movie that just I'm gonna watch this again on Blu-ray I think at some point if it ever has. I don't know if it
Yeah.
has one, but
They kind of they don't really come out and say it, but they show basically how there's this power dynamic between the two, where he
mm-hmm.
has all the power, she has none of the power, and it's almost like she's being held captive
She is in fact
and
being held
being
captive.
studied and tested on and all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, and you don't quite know why, but you can tell there's this thing where he's unhappy because she won't do what he wants her to do, and almost as if she doesn't know what it is he wants, what he expects of her. But There are other times when it feels like she does know what he expects of her.
Um,
Regardless of like, you can tell there's something off about this guy from the very
I
beginning, and there's definitely something off about this guy.
I related to her very hard because that's the kind of dynamic it is with my parents. Like, I don't know what you want from me, and then even if I give you what you want, there's something wrong with what I've done. You know, like that's what it was like that with those. That was their dynamic. So I really
Yeah.
latched on to this character at the beginning. Oh.
Mhm.
I gave this what I gave this. It's kind of important. I gave this a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it was like a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8.
It's borderline, right? I think it's
I,
like,
it's one that I think could get a better score when we watch it again,
mm-hmm.
and we'll have more time to think about it and really make a better decision about where it would rank. But for now, at least, I think 7 out of 10 is a fair score, and that's because it's such a slow movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that like most people are not going to get into, but we're not most people. So
Nope.
for us, uh, we liked it.
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. We're definitely doing that again. All right. Don't want to talk about Murder Among the Mormons. Wasn't that interesting? Then we watched Mandy before that. I don't know if you wanted to actually talk about Mandy. We kind of did. We did a kind of. Well, it was a couple days apart, but we did basically a Cosmatos double bill by happenstance.
Yeah. Um, I like Mandy. Mandy's awesome. A lot of the same stuff, but it's definitely more geared toward a wider audience. Uh,
Oh, mention the connection you think between the two movies with the liquid or whatever.
oh, the liquid, yeah, the liquid that he. Okay, so there's this goo in both movies that kind of transports you to another world. One, the guy is like bathing in it, right? And gets transported, quote unquote, beyond the black rainbow or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And in the other, there's this goo that Nicolas Cage, his character in Mandy, just takes one lick of, and suddenly he's transported into another dimension of some
I think
sort.
they're just seeing a different like perspective of reality through a different barrier, basically, or a different
Yeah.
lens kind of thing. It feels like Earth, but like enhanced and different. Because like people who like in Mandy, after that moment, he like encounters some villain, some thugs or whatever the villain, and like they appear as these grisly monsters, which we know they're just people, but like it's kind of interesting because it's all about perspectives at that point.
Yeah. There are definitely in both films you see this depiction of multiple dimensions. One dimension being an evil place where monsters exist, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't know. It could be the same dimension in both movies that
The
he's
same drug, yeah.
they yeah, it could be that they're both connected in that way. But who knows? I certainly don't know.
So yeah, Mandy's a movie. Nicolas Cage and his girlfriend. They're like weirdos, like me, like idiosyncratic type people. You know, who kind of like fall outside the lines of like social acceptability. They're kind of like, you know, it's like those people that can get in the buses like the person who's like, that dude's a fucking character. You don't know anything about that guy, but you can make 10,000 assumptions about this guy because he's a character. He's one of those kind of people, and I feel like this couple is like those kind of people. But like this cult leader takes a that's neither here nor there. A cult leader takes a liking to Nick Cage's wife. He strips naked in front of her, and she laughs at his penis size, and he's angry. Of course, as you'd expect, kills her. Oh, hit a wrong button.
I remember that they said.
There you go.
Remember that they said they wanted Nicolas Cage to play. He wanted Nicolas Cage to play uh, the psychotic Jesus freak, so to speak.
The
You
cult
know,
leader, yeah.
And Nicolas Cage wanted to play the character that he ended up playing,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And I said to myself, I can't imagine. Like, I'm sure it would be possible because Nicolas Cage can do fucking anything,
Right.
but um, I just can't imagine what this movie would look like or even feel like if Nicolas Cage had taken that original role, because I feel like the guy who plays the Jesus freak, the cult leader in this movie, does such an amazing job. And like the whole idea is to be like this creepy fucking almost Anthony Perkins-esque kind of character. And that's exactly the vibe that he gives off. Again, I'm sure Nicolas Cage could do that, but being his age, it feels like this is something more that you would expect from a younger cult leader like himself. I don't know. I just
Hmm.
feel like he does such a much better fucking job with that role than Nicolas Cage. Not that Nicolas Cage couldn't do it, but that I just can't imagine seeing Nicolas Cage in that role. I
So
like what they chose to do. I like the people that they were chosen and casted as they were. You know, and
so
I wouldn't have wanted to see it necessarily the other way around.
so so okay. So I
Sorry,
fuck sakes.
we
I
do
try to
this all the
say
time
I
to each
try
other.
I 5 times I try to say something. What was I gonna say? It was something mildly. Oh, so yeah, this movie is about like it's basically about. Are we talking about Nick Cage? His wife just gets killed or whatever, right? And that's like the inciting incident. It's only not that long into the movie, and not a huge spoiler, because then he goes Death Wish / John Wick on a whole bunch of cultists, and this is so infused with 70s gore. I just it drips. It's so
Yep.
wet and sticky, and it's
Joe
just
Bob even mentions that, right?
yeah.
We were watching a Joe Bob version. And Joe Bob
Last
mentioned
Drive
that,
In,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
on Shutter.
and he mentioned that, like, the director really had an affinity for certain movies, which you see
Mm-hmm.
all of in, like, depicted in this movie. One of them being Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and of course, there's the chainsaw fight in this movie. I
Hell
mean,
yes. Oh my god.
didn't he also say Evil Dead 2? Because I saw references to Evil Dead 2 in this movie as well.
I mean, sure.
Just the preparing for battle scene was definitely from Evil Dead 2. But the best scene from this movie, I think most people agree, is when Nicolas Cage has that moment in the bathroom where he's downing an entire, like, looks like a almost 2 liter bottle of vodka, just downing the
Is
fucking
it a
thing.
handle or something? Is that what it's called?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Um,
Just
yeah, it's
he's
vodka.
pouring it all over his wounds and everything, and drinking it as well. There's a moment where you can see that like
So,
some of the fake blood got mixed in with the vodka, and he's still drinking it. Like
so
this
like
guy goes off the fucking chain
he
as
starts losing.
usual.
Yeah, he's like suffering from grief, right? And so, um, I mean, like Nick Cage plays grief so well. Maybe you can look at my face and stop interrupting me. As I'm trying to say something.
Yeah, that would probably help a lot actually.
And so,
It's my
like,
upload that's being really shit. My download's okay.
it's true. Um, fuck. Nick Cage. So like, out of context, the scene with Nick Cage in the bathroom is like hilarious. In context, it gives all the weight to this film. His grief is so real because Nick Cage later said in an interview that he funneled the grief of his very recent divorce, the grief of that relationship loss. He funneled that into that scene, into that feeling, so you feel his fucking grief. And it's so real, just the raw scream, the primordial scream that like you just that comes
Yeah.
from your bones, that the grief just saps from you in a way that you can't describe really. It's just grief's crazy, the craziest shit. That's why there's so
Yeah.
many horror movies about grief. It manifests itself
Yeah.
in so many different ways. Anyway, so beautiful. I
I love
fucking love
horror
this
movies.
movie. God damn.
I love Mandy. Yeah, it's so good. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try again. Let's see if it works this time.
No, you look.
It's
Don't
gonna
look like a
work.
postage stamp. That's
Gonna
good.
work. Because about 5 minutes ago, I noticed the speed went back up to like 60, 70, and it was like
Hmm.
2, 3 upload or whatever. Like, not great, but maybe it'll do. I think it's because the kids have also taken
Why
to
did I write?
uploading a lot of shit, doing live streams and whatnot.
Motherfucker. 1978. Sorry, me talking to my notes. I wrote.
Okay.
I put for Satan's Blood. I put 2018. It's not 1978.
Did you? Oh, I think that's because when you originally saw it, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably the number that's in my brain.
Made a mistake.
Anyway, do you remember? I don't remember anything in this movie. I've seen this movie twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've
No,
seen,
yeah, it was.
it's
Pretty
one of
good
those movies.
movie.
It's not like I rated it 8 stars out of 10, so I really liked it. But I couldn't tell you. I need to get that Blu-ray. I'm not gonna get that slipcover. It'll probably be sold out by the time I get around to it. I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that. It's fine.
This movie is your classic. Well, not classic necessarily, but it's your people who worship Satan and they're evil and they're trying to use other people for their fucking goal of worshiping Satan, kind of thing. Satan worship is evil and wrong and scary. Woo, that kind of thing.
See,
But the movie starts with a couple who's driving along, and there's this other couple in a car right next to them, looking at them kind of creepily almost. They're looking at them like they know them, right? That's the implication. And so when they finally pull to the next stop, the next brain is failing me. Light, yeah, the next red light.
intersection, red light, whatever
Intersection, yes.
it was.
They roll down the window, and the guy's like, "Hey, John," or I can't remember what his name is, but they mention his name. He's like, "Do I know you?" I was like, "Of course you know me. We went to college together and all this stuff." And what really, if you're paying attention from the very beginning, you're like, it's interesting that they're only mentioning a few little details that anybody could get from public records.
Right?
But,
you know so much about
regardless,
me. How?
they're
You
like,
went
"Hey,
to the
what?"
fucking city like center and looked at your name, your registration.
Yeah, they're like,
all that
"Let's
shit.
hang out together and just catch up, basically." And so they decide to do that, and
I
they
don't remember any
follow
of this
them.
chat. Sorry.
They follow them like an hour or so down the road. Maybe it was more than an hour, and then they're like, "This is a little too fucking weird. Let's turn back." Before they can turn back, the guy's like, "No, hold on. We're almost there." Then they get to the old dark house, so to speak. Yes, there's an old dark house. And they pull up and they go inside, and that's when shit goes all fucky. Content warning for people who love dogs. They have a dog, and something happens to the dog, and if you love dogs, you're gonna hate this movie.
Literally, I'll tell you right now. You see the top half of the dog has been cut in half. So like, I'll tell you right now. If you're sensing such images, you want to look away, or you want to not watch this movie. Whatever you do, you do you. But there's your warning. They kill the dog
Yeah.
needlessly, pointlessly in this fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, the point is to show that these people are evil, but it's like you don't have to kill a dog to do that.
You do that in some other way.
There are so many other ways horror movies have found to depict evil without killing dogs. So,
Right?
no. But yeah, there's like they depict like the actual Satan worship. They're like doing the seances and stuff like that. They're speaking the rites or whatever the fuck. And I don't know much about it myself, so I'm one of these
We lost him. We
laymen
lost
who
him. What?
like this sounds like it's plausible to me. That's
What?
not.
Start again. You broke up. You're
I'm
not
one of those laymen who this sounds somewhat plausible to me.
Hmm. You froze chat. I think we just completely lost him, chat. We may have completely lost him. I think our poor Stout's he's just gone. Look at that face. And it's probably really frustrating for him, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't remember a goddamn thing of this movie. So he was the one helping me along because I don't remember any of this shit. Like, fuck. I wonder if he just shows back up eventually. Like nothing happened. I haven't heard from him, so I don't know what's up. He's just dead, chat. He died. He deaded his internet died. Oh well, I guess we're gonna go over here. Chat. I don't know how long it's gonna take him to come back. If he's even able to come back. I don't have the faintest idea, because he has to send a message to me via the internet. Actually, we have each other's phone numbers, I'm pretty sure. I definitely have his phone number. You know, it's interesting. I've been taking this new medication, and it has caused me to fall asleep more times this week than any other last 2 weeks, in fact. And so, like, on the night we were watching Satan's Blood, I had upped my dose. Hey, here he is. And so I'm trying to watch the movie very hard, and I cannot, for the life of me, keep my eyes open. I keep dozing off, and it's not because the movie's bad. I gave this movie an 8 stars the first time I watched it, and I completely forgot what it was about. Keep in mind, I watched this in 2015 and 2016. Couldn't tell you what it was about. Watched it again, nostalgia, like last week. Couldn't tell you what it was about. Sorry. I don't know.
I completely died out that time.
I noticed.
Yeah. We back though.
We stared at your funny face and laughed about how weird it looked because it was all frozen. You're like. I should have mentioned you look kind of like the you got any of them. Insert whatever you want, like the addiction gift that you see.
Oh God. But
from
Satan's Blood.
Chappelle's show. Sorry, go ahead.
I liked Satan's Blood. Not a whole lot, but I did think it was all right. There were elements of it that I felt go too far, like the murder of a dog.
It was like kind of pointless. It didn't really serve anything.
Yeah.
You could have thought of a much better way of doing that.
But the whole missing time thing is interesting. There's another content warning. There's like an orgy scene in this film.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable orgy scene to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's having fun.
Yeah.
It looks like an uncomfortable orgy. But I mean, I guess an uncomfortable orgy is better than no orgy. Or is it? It's a hard choice.
Then the movie kind of ends the same way it began, so to speak. But I'd say it's like a 6 or 7 out of 10, maybe. It's not perfect. It's not great, but it's, other than one slightly offensive thing, maybe more than slightly offensive.
There's a few little things.
It's a good movie. and I'm kind of glad I got it. But
I'm gonna upgrade to
there is that
Blu-ray,
one thing
so
I'm like, I wish they had. The cover art really doesn't give away anything because like
yeah, I see. Like, I don't
this
remember a
almost to
fucking
me
thing about that movie for some reason. So.
this makes it look more like almost like a sword and sandals epic of sorts, you
Yeah, or it
know.
just looks like there'd be a lot more Satanism in it than really what was in there. Uh,
Let's see.
the next movie is Evilspeak, in which it's like,
There's the alternative. That one tells you, shows you a little bit more from the movie.
oh hey, that's cool.
Creepy doll. There's a creepy doll in this. By the way.
There is a creepy doll in this. That is true. So, do you want to take away Evilspeak while I go to the restroom? My bladder is tiny.
Okay. Assuming that my internet doesn't go out
That's
again.
true.
Hopefully.
Chat, don't forget the spam lull if he disconnects.
Yes. Lull me to death. So, Evil Speak with Clint Howard is actually a really good movie. I didn't know what to expect because it was the Joe Bob version, and I was not familiar at all with this movie. And all I knew about, or all I could think about with Clint Howard, I should say, was stop killing me, kitten, stop it, stop it, ow, ah, eh. She got me. She attached her claws to my sock, couldn't get them off, and was attacking my foot because she couldn't get her claws off. Oh my goodness, kitten. So I had to take my sock off. That's what happened there. Okay. She likes to attack my toe beans. Anyways, back to Evil Speak. Uh, the only thing I could think about with Clint Howard at the time we watched this was Ice Cream Man, right? And Ice Cream Man is a certain quality of horror film. Um, it's a good movie. I like it. It's very enjoyable. It's also cheesy as fuck, and it's almost like regional horror kind of stuff, almost. But Evil Speak was a little bit different. I would say in terms of the cinematography and everything, probably even a higher quality film than Ice Cream Man in some ways. Uh, and he plays a um, a student who had to be accepted, like based on whatever the fuck criteria he was. They were required to accept him into a military academy, even though like the first thing we see of him is screwing up a play on the soccer field and playing soccer uh, um, at this particular military academy. And they're like, why does he have to play? Why can't you just bench him? It's like, well, apparently we're required to have everybody who's on the team play a certain amount of time. And it's just the way they do things at this military academy. So they're like trying to find ways to like stop him from or to injure him so that he can't play in the big game or whatever the fuck, right? Trying to think of ways to do that. So they're bullying the fuck out of him, and as a consequence of getting caught responding to the bullying, so to speak, if I recall correctly, he gets punished by the headmaster or whatever the fuck at the principal, not the principal, but the headmaster at the military academy. And his punishment is that he has to do all this extra work. And while he's doing all this extra work, he has to go down into the basement underneath the church where uh, this old guy who used to work at the military academy is still lives and still I guess he's like the janitor now or something, but he's just like this drunk old guy living underneath the church. It's interesting. The major, I think, is what they call them.
Oh boy.
But he has to go down there and clean up the area under the church. And when he does so, he discovers an area that's been like walled off. And in that area, he finds a book, like an ancient book, starts looking into it, starts getting into the what he finds out about it using a computer. He finds out what he deciphers what is said in this
Very
book, and he
1989
realizes,
computer, I might say.
yes, and he realizes that it's a book about like conjuring up. Hey, conjuring up Satan, conjuring up.
Yes.
It's like another Satan worship kind of thing, right? But he's like, he's somebody who he's being bullied all the time, and he's like trying to find a way to fight back against the bullies, and this is how he thinks he can do it. And
These are all grown adults
uh,
in college, by the way. Bullying.
right,
And it's a
um,
military college, so everyone wears like military outfits, and it's just
yes,
I like Joe Bob's going on a whole
Correctional.
like discussion about like college films and all that stuff, and then like we watch this movie, which is a college film technically. It's just not like any of the other college films I've seen, you know.
It's military academy,
Yeah, it's a little
not
different.
really college.
Yeah,
Uh, Although I'm sure in some states and whatnot they are considered colleges, but
it might be.
regardless, some of them might be. Uh,
Huh?
Depends on what they're teaching, what level of education you're receiving. But yeah, in the end, he does end up. There's speaking of bad things happening to dogs. This is another movie where a bad thing happens to the dog. Can they stop killing dogs, please? Holy shit! Stop it!
It's so
Just
weird.
stop it. And this time it was a puppy. It was terrible. Why would
Hmm.
you do that? And what really kills me about that scene is I think it's even more useless in this movie because the idea is that the main character is quote unquote is killing the puppy to try and um to show a girl how badass he is.
Right?
That's the idea behind
He's
it.
trying to
Is like
impress a
he's
girl.
going to impress a girl. Yeah, I can think of zero woman or young woman in the entire world who would be impressed by you killing a dog, you fucking idiot. Who thought that up? Who thought that's going to be a good thing? What the fuck?
I know.
What writer thought, yeah, that's a good motivation? What? No, no.
We're
But
bringing up the dog
that's my
thing. As
criticism.
you can see, it's a very tired trope in horror.
Yes, just stop it already. Stop it. Get some help.
Stop killing animals, even fake ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Um,
are times it's acceptable when it drives the story or something like that. But like John Wick example, but
Ultimately,
John
Clint
Wick isn't
Howard.
ultimately exploitative with the dog corpse or fake dog corpses. Maybe I mean, it
Yeah.
just you just know the dog is dead. It's way more respectful about pet ownership. Anyway,
Ultimately, Clint Howard's character in this movie does get his wish. He does end up conjuring whatever the fuck it is, and the special effects show afterwards is fucking incredible.
the
It
last
is
30 minutes of the movie
so
is just chef's kiss.
good. Yeah. It's like we didn't have to kill a dog to get here, but damn, does this look good?
It's great. It's such a good movie. I
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Besides the dog killing, I
yeah, yeah.
enjoyed it. But that's the thing. Like every time you see that in a movie, it's like I'm docking a full star at least for this. You
It
know,
came out
like
6 out of 10. It would have been 8 out of 10.
yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. But I guess I'm a little bit more forgiving of that, although I'm sure it doesn't sound like I am because I hate that
There
shit.
was another joke, off-color joke I didn't like that I took another star off for. Well, it's
Yeah,
1989, but you know, I
yeah.
understand. But still, um, God, we have gone an hour and 14 minutes. Let's talk about. Okay, do you want to do All About Eve, or do you want to do The Old Dark House, or Things, or do you want to talk about any of these movies at all? Curse the Werewolf.
Um,
Let's do
I
one
do
more.
want to
So.
say just one more.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we're we won't kind of want to make them like a certain
Well,
amount of length, but I don't know.
let's cover. Let's do this. We'll cover the old Dark House movies, and then because I feel like we can talk about that in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, but before that, we'll just cover the other ones by giving them like a, we liked it, we didn't like it, whatever, you know. And then if we want to, we can cover it a little bit more in future
Briefly
episodes.
talk about them, maybe.
Yes, just briefly say, like, for All About Eve, really fucking good movie. Probably the best movie we've watched all over the
It's
past few
9 out of
weeks.
10. I'm like, and that was the first time
Yeah,
watch, and it was so good.
it's so fucking good. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. Oh my god, it's a classic.
Oh yeah,
Must see.
1950
Um,
film.
what were the other ones? Oh yeah, there was The Curse of the Werewolf. It was a really fucking good movie. Uh, it's in the Hammer horror set in this
Mm-hmm.
Hammer
Has a
horror set
standalone from
right
Scream
here.
Factory, which I'm gonna pick up.
It's also got the standalone that just came out, yeah, and I want to get that as well at some point because it was so good. I enjoyed it so much
Oliver Reed's in it. It's so good.
as the main character,
Yeah.
and I would say honestly, in my opinion, it's a better werewolf movie than the Wolfman. I said it.
Like
I
the
said it.
classic
It's
one.
better than the Wolfman, than the classic Wolfman. Better than that. Yep, I said it. Anyways,
You're wrong.
Real
It's
Dark
okay.
House. I'm not wrong. I'm correct.
What about your thoughts on up or down things? Did you like or hate it?
Oh god, it was terrible. It was
I
terrible.
love it. Previous week we did Sledgehammer, which I also give a thumbs up to. He probably also hates.
Sledgehammer was like there were some enjoyable things about it, but things was just oh
Look,
not good. Not good.
part of the joy of watching things is watching your friends squirm. The same.
Terrible.
All
Atrocious.
right, so
Not good.
we watched both Old Dark Houses back to back. Let's start with
Yes.
1932.
Well, did you say you're going to start with 1932?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, I've seen this one before. I actually have the DVD from Kino. I don't have the Blu-ray, but I think they do have it on Blu-ray.
You and Zen and I
Um,
did watch this before.
yeah, and
Eureka has a Blu-ray, by the way.
it is kind of a horror comedy, although like the elements that make it comedic aren't necessarily going to hit as well with modern audiences as they did at the time, I'm
Some of the
sure.
jokes are kind of dated.
Yeah,
Not in
and
a
it's
bad way,
so
just not
dated that
funny.
it's like
Yeah.
just so dated that you wouldn't understand what they're making fun of at the time, you know, like because you have no frame of reference, no context to work with that the audiences at that time might have had to work with. So, yeah. But I mean, you got Charles Lawton in it, and he was very well known at the time for his comedic roles, and his character is supposed to, I guess, be comedic in this film, but it just doesn't. There aren't any elements of his character that seem very humorous to me, at least in this
But we
movie.
have modern sensibilities once again. They live in a completely different
Yes,
world, considering,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. But there are other elements that I find very funny about this movie, um, such as the older woman who's just saying, "No beds, no beds. Have a potato. Have a potato. Have a potato." Just repeating the same phrases over and over and over again
It's
for
future
some
styled,
fucking
in case you're curious.
reason.
He already says these things over and over again, so now when he's old, you don't even know why he's saying over and over
And
again.
I noted while watching it that the character. What's interesting about the character who plays that old woman is that at the time she was like in her 20s or 30s, and it was just really fucking good makeup that made her look really old. And that's how it was back in the day. They had really good makeup back then. They had to in order to make you believe shit. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, these are also the people who worked on these on the uh, on the set designs and the makeup and whatnot at the time, and were people who had previously either worked in the like on theatrical productions like musicals and whatnot, not musicals but plays
Stage
and
plays,
whatnot,
yeah.
stage plays, and also people who had done other work in film, but in like meaningful important film at the time, like uh, German expressionism
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. and you see a lot of elements of German expressionism in this film as well. But this was definitely a golden age for like makeup effects and whatnot, and so you can tell with that. But what I found interesting about this old woman now, with my modern sensibilities, was how much she looks almost exactly like Rudy Giuliani.
I know. Oh my god. He made a tweet about this, but like she really does look like Rudy
I was like,
Giuliani.
I have been cursed with realizing this similarity, and so now you all must be cursed
If you
with
tell
this
me that that's like
realization.
Rudy Giuliani's grandmother, I believe you.
Right? It looks so much like him, but they're not connected. They're not related at all. The actress and Rudy Giuliani. They
Thank fuck.
just look
But
so similar with the makeup and everything that it's creepy
it's spooky.
how that works out. Yeah. Uh, but they're for being a horror comedy, I feel like there's more horror in this movie, even when you add in the comedy that maybe you don't understand because you don't have the references or whatever.
The cultural
Um,
points. Yeah.
it's more of a horror movie than it is a comedy, in my estimation, in 1932. But it's a very good movie nonetheless. And I think it's just because I like classic old dark house movies, and this was like the movie's name is legitimately a play off of the term old dark house,
Actually,
which was a subgenre of horror movie at the time. There were
yeah,
dozens of them at the time, from like
the
the
Lodger
early
being a very
late
popular one.
20s, the late 20s to like the mid 30s or so. No, mid 40s even. They were still making old dark house movies. So, yeah, The Lodger was like one of the big first ones. That was like 1928.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, um, but yeah, I love it.
I give it 8 out of 10. I had nothing to add to anything. You just basically said it all.
Well, there's the Boris Karloff thing, right?
Mm.
With
All
the
right.
director.
So, thank you. Hold on. I'm gonna go find that information. I don't want to fuck it up.
Okay. Well, something interesting happens, and they actually covered it in another movie that's based on
Gods and Monsters, name of the movie.
this situation, Gods and Monsters. Yeah, which we still need to watch. It's on HBO Max for me. I don't think that Elise has a way to watch it yet, though.
Mm,
Sadly.
my friend Steve. Um. Uh. So James Whale and Boris Karloff had a homosexual relationship, and it was sadomasochistic in nature in many ways, including a scene where he has to like carry someone up or downstairs. I can't remember which, and James Whale made him kept doing it over and over again, like knowing full well that he was already hurting from years of like back pain and all that stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
this was like the end of their relationship. They had a relationship that started thinking Frankenstein and went to this. It was 3 or 4 movies, and then they split up. Never talked again. And there's a movie Gods and Monsters about James Whale's late life. And I guess in some of the like dreams or hallucinations, uh, Brendan Fraser is and Gods and Monsters is a stand-in for Boris Karloff. So, because it's not actually Boris Karloff, he was dead by then. But anyway, that's Gods and Monsters, which is how old dark house related. And interesting that they make a huge hoopla at the very beginning of the movie that Boris Karloff's doing such a great job acting. You'll never know it's Boris Karloff doing the same fucking thing he did in Frankenstein. We swear it's not. Anyway, that hullabaloo.
Yeah. Boris Karloff this came out like 1932, right?
Yep.
And that's literally just like a year or two after uh, his role as Frankenstein and the Mummy. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my favorite of his is the Mummy. But yes, he's basically doing the same kind of fucking character as Frankenstein in this movie. So
Yeah. Very much.
it's like, of course they're going to recognize him. That's exactly why he's in this movie, to just be the same kind of character. So yeah, because of that though, I really want to see Gods and Monsters, just because it seems like there were movies like that being made in the 90s. But that one about what was that one about the making of Nosferatu? I can't remember what it was
Shadow of
called.
the
I
Vampire.
have it, I don't remember. What?
Shadow of the Vampire.
Shadow of the Vampire, yes. So that
I
was
need to
about
see
the
that.
making of Nosferatu. This one is about like the not necessarily the making of the old Dark House, but
It's just
about the
like
relationship
it's
these two
about
people
James
had in
Whale and his
Hollywood.
last of his life, and it's just
Yeah,
there's this part of the movie that's about their relationship.
it's just interesting to me
Metaphorically
that
speaking, I
these
guess.
movies about early Hollywood horror were being made during the '90s and just got forgotten, I
But yeah,
think. But anyways, the second Old Dark House, the one the Hammer did, the
the
one
William
the
Castle film
Hammer
too,
did, yes,
isn't it?
that one is much more easy to pick out as a horror movie.
It is William Castle. So just like William Castle,
It's on this set.
what about William Castle? Is all the movies are a bit goofiness. There's an inherent
Yeah,
goofiness distract from the flaws, and it's always it's really tongue in cheek in some places.
yes. It almost feels like if I were going to compare it to some movies, now there is one comparison we will make at one point, but one I would also make is to Clue, the '80s Clue
A
movie.
bit, yeah,
With
I can see that.
yeah, because there's a zaniness to it, but there's also like the who done it
Yes.
aspect of it. You're trying to figure out who the killer is, what's going on, and it's very fun to watch and try and figure out for yourself who's doing this, what's going on,
Hmm.
all while enjoying a few laughs here and there because there's just some weird, creepy stuff happening in the movie.
Yeah, it's a fun little film.
Yeah.
It's definitely leans harder on the humor than the horror,
Yes.
in a very William Castle style. So if you like William Castle films, it's just more par for the course. He doesn't mix anything up. He just presents you with the same ingredients presented in a different way. He's like the Taco Bell of cinema.
The Taco Bell cinema.
It's like Don
What does that
Doler
mean?
made 5
Does that
movies and
mean
all of
that
them are
you
the same
need
movie.
extra sauce to make it taste good?
Yeah, we had to have seen the first movie.
Ah,
That's the
yeah,
extra
yeah.
sauce, you see.
True, true.
But yeah, there's I think like the flaw in this film is really some of the acting is clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, like really clunky. You're like, ooh, and even for the time, you're like, ooh.
But then other actors are doing a really fucking good job and
Yeah, there's no balance. Yeah,
they pick up the ball when it gets dropped, basically. So
sometimes. But yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10. Not as good as the original by a long shot. Well, by a shot, I guess, but not really
I
a
felt
long.
like they were both comparably good in my opinion.
I give the
But
original
that's
8 out of 10.
like
So it's like,
I kept seeing elements of this that like were I think what happened is I saw this movie and couldn't stop thinking about how it compares in some ways to Nothing But Trouble, and I
oh, we're
realized,
talking about
oh
that's
my god,
an old Dark House
Nothing But
movie.
Trouble is an old Dark House movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
had never fucking realized it
neither did
until
I.
that
That was
one
when we
fucking
all had.
moment.
He had that brilliant moment. Brought that up. Like, oh
It's
yeah,
an old Dark House movie. Oh my
it is.
god!
It's also it's like his old dark Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. You know,
Right?
so fucking
Uh,
weird. That's a movie we definitely need to cover at some point in the show.
that's a movie that definitely needs at least an HD transfer done.
Yes,
For fuck's sake!
and the minute it does, you bet your cheeks
It's
are gonna
only
be on
available on
this show.
DVD. Can you believe Nothing But Trouble, starring Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, only
John
available
Goodman.
on DVD? What the fuck?
John Goodman in a dual role.
Tupac is in that movie. What the fuck?
Yeah, actually, the fact that Tupac is in that movie is a what the fuck moment. To be fair, because like I was in the '90s. I'm watching this in the '90s on HBO, and Tupac was, I think he'd just been, like, he'd gotten big not that long ago,
Yeah.
prior, right? And so I was like, holy fuck, is that Tupac Shakur? I thought it was a lookalike for a long time, and then it was only in like the early 2000s with the rise of IMDb's like easy to search lists and
Yeah.
stuff, and all the
Because
data.
he was in that
Yeah.
group, that music group. That's
Yeah,
how he
Electric
got his
Underground,
start.
I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I love Nothing But Trouble. What a great fucking movie. I mean, and I really
It
want
has
the
a
Aykroyd
similar
cut.
zaniness and weirdness to it as the '60s old Dark House movie. You could do a double bill of those two movies, and you'd be quite content. And you could see what we're talking about, the comparisons that can be made between them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, man, that's an old dark house. I can't. I want to get a Blu-ray now, so we have an excuse to watch it and talk about
Right?
it. But I also really want the Aykroyd cut because there's a Dan Aykroyd director's cut. That's like
Is
30 or
there?
40.
You know
Yeah,
that?
it's like
Oh,
88
okay.
minutes, 60 minutes on the floor. He said
Holy shit! What the
it was like
fuck?
2.5 hours long originally.
Release the Ackroyd cut.
Release the Aykroyd cut.
Oh my god. Who would do this justice? I mean, I don't feel like
Arrow.
Vinegar Syndrome would get it. Arrow could get it. Arrow
Arrow.
definitely could get it.
Arrow. I mean,
Come on,
Warner
Arrow.
Archive. It's a Warner film, home video wise, so
Yeah,
it could just be on archive. They've done justice to a lot of movies, including
that's
my new
true.
favorite is Legend of Drunken Master, aka Drunken Master 2, getting it the first time in the U.S. getting its uncut release on home video in high def. Like, that's Warner Archive. So, like, they did good shit.
Yes, they do good shit. Usually they.
No! Bismarcky just died! What?
No!
No! Why'd I have to read that?
What is
Ah!
this? This is the worst day ever. What the
This is
fuck?
terrible. No.
For those who are watching this in the future, this is the day that Bismarcky died. And
Oh,
it's also the
God.
day that they let fucking Bill Cosby out. This
What
is
the
the worst
fuck?
fucking day.
And they denied Britney freedom today, too.
Oh my god.
Right? Like, fuck.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, simulation? I thought you were done with this, but Trump was done. I thought we got out of the weird universe. Why? It's not okay. This world is just...
It's bullshit.
It's just... Oh my god. Anyway, sorry for the distraction. I just...
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
I liked both old Dark House movies. I think basically for different reasons. One of them
Mm-hmm.
because it actually is kind of more creepy and spooky than funny, and the other one because it's funny and enjoyable in much the same way as the zany horror comedies that would come after it, like in the 70s and 80s.
I also like both for different
Yeah.
reasons. Yeah. And then, like, I feel like while I rated the original Old Dark House an 8 out of 10 and the remake 7 out of 10, I think I like the remake better. I enjoy it more. The humor hits more for me, you know?
Right? It's the same
And
for
it's
me.
William
It's like,
Castle, and it's just, I don't know, something really inherently
yeah,
enjoyable about its work.
it's more enjoyable. I think that when you watch the first one with friends, it's a more enjoyable experience because you can both you can all have fun with the no beds and stuff like that. But
Potato.
when when yeah, when you're just if you're just going to watch one of them alone, then the William Castle one is probably more enjoyable because it's more relatable to modern
I'm
audiences.
definitely going to run it again, just and like watch bits and pieces of it while I do some other things. It's one of those kind of movies that like it's good. You don't they're like and like there's a story, but like you can just watch a segment of it and it's just funny. It's like some slapstick and silly wordplay and goofy shenanigans. It's all got a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of broad comedy, some spooks.
I think that somebody out there needs
Spookiness.
to do a triple bill of Old Dark House 60s movie, Clue, and Nothing But Trouble. Triple bill. Do it.
It's an interesting triple
I
bill.
love it.
I think Old Dark House remake with Nothing But Trouble is a great double bill, by the way. I think it's a fantastic one.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect triple bill.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else we'd like to talk about?
Not really. Not that I can think of, at least. I think we covered basically everything. Go watch All About Eve if you
Please.
love classic movies and you haven't seen that one.
I think it's on
You're
turning
like-
classic movies pretty regularly.
If you're like, I love, if you're saying to yourself,
Maybe it's on Fox.
I love Casablanca, I love
Never seen it.
Sunset Boulevard.
I've seen that. Love that movie.
Yeah, you love all these fucking movies from that golden era of Hollywood, right? All About Eve is one of the ones that just gets forgotten
I don't
and
know
not
about that.
never.
It's got plenty of people who love it. It's pretty well regarded. I don't know if
Okay,
it's got any
but
detractors. We don't hear about it because it's not one of the big
no, I
tentpoles.
wouldn't say there's detractors. It's just that it gets left off a lot of lists. I think, but potentially
I don't know.
because it's
Maybe.
like it doesn't. At least until recently, it wasn't necessarily getting as much respect or notoriety as those other movies were. So,
I mean,
but it's so
yeah.
well written. It's so good.
It's very good.
I
It's
really,
probably one of the best. It's definitely, I think, like you said, the best movie we watched in the last like 3 weeks, easily. And I
yes,
really liked Mandy, and I really liked Beyond the Black
yeah.
Rainbow, and I really liked so many of the other movies we talked about tonight. But yeah, I have nothing else to add. We will hopefully be back next week. I'd like to, I'd like to, like I said, several weeks now in a row, try to still do the show if we don't have anything to talk about, and just do like a live viewing or something. But then you can watch us all both have like our own, like what we do when we watch a movie. We just kind of like talk about the movie and what's going on, and it's kind of like a commentary. And we also bullshit sometimes too, but or make up dumb jokes, whatever.
We could also like show. We could like you could do a public domain movie, right? And even if it were gonna get captured on YouTube or whatever, you could take it down. Just have it be a live thing, you know.
I mean, maybe. I just like this whole
Just,
watch party thing and do just a live commentary like a fairly popular film that could give us something to talk about. Something that would give us like put eyes on the podcast. We talk about a little bit of everything, so.
yeah.
So yeah, well, I don't think I have a show tomorrow because I think Jocelyn and I've got like a bunch of crap going on. Like, what was that again? Thursday there's a co-stream. Something that's going on instead of the co-stream I had to do, and I think I actually have to go look at my message to Jocelyn to remember. Oh, right.
Almost doing you?
I remember I need to do food shopping. That's what's going on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, and that's taking the place of my stream next week, unfortunately. So yeah, otherwise I stream every week. Tuesday at noon with Art and Tea. Wednesday at 8 p.m. for Couch Tomatoes Movie Talk. And Thursdays it's usually Translatees talking nerdy, or me and the Translatees playing video games together. Depends on what we want to do. Me and the other Translatees, I should say. Anyway, do you have anything to throw out?
Nope. I'm just busy working on other stuff right now.
There you go.
Got a job.
Go to cinnamon.com. .com, right?
Oh, that's right. Cinnamon.com. Yes. I'm not doing much with the site right this moment, but I do have over 100 fucking movies I need to add to the site at some point. So almost 200 movies at this point that I need to add, and there's already 200 confirmed public domain movies on the website, so you can watch them for free legally, no problem.
There's a bunch of movies that I have to figure out. There's a bunch of movies that aren't public domain, but will never get a physical release because of dubious funding. Because, like, in the 80s, the mob was funneling a lot of a lot of money into movies. And if a movie is funded by fucking mafia money, who can release that legally? So there's a bunch of movies, especially some sleazy horror slasher films, that can never be released because of shit like that. Shenanigans. Like, no one will ever release it on video because the person who is owed money for it might show up, or the person who has the rights might show up. Like, it's one of those kind of things. Anyway, sorry, babbling.
All right.
Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.